Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. As always, thank you so much for joining us. All right, a telling tidbit from the New York Post today sheds more light on the friction between Kamala Harris and the man who actually won his party's primaries. At Ethel Kennedy's funeral, Biden reportedly whispered to Obama, "She's not as strong as me," according to this renowned lip reader who analyzed the conversation. Obama then answered in response, "I know, that's true. We have time." Well, not a lot, only 19 days. And there is a building consensus tonight that the political momentum, at least for now, is with Donald Trump. He did a Univision town hall yesterday, another hostile forum, and seemed to take it all in stride. No reports that he showed up late or tried to wrap the interview early. That's because he's confident of himself and of his understanding of the issues, as complex as they are. Now, this is a stark contrast to Kamala in the Fox den, and that's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, last night we shared our instant reaction to Harris's sit-down with Bret Baier, but now we have a better sense of just how badly it went for her. And her own supporters inside and outside the campaign, oh, they know it. The best that they could do, and I read pretty much everything today, the best they could do was try to portray her as Kamala in the lion's den. The media's word of the day, tough.
At the end of the day, this is all about one word, the word tough. It showed that Harris was tough.
She showed a real toughness by going in there and standing toe-to-toe in what was clearly an unfriendly venue.
It was aggressive, it was tough, and she was absolutely fine. She has answered, Kamala Harris, every criticism that has come her way.
Wait. She was absolutely fine. Would anyone say that about Donald? It was absolutely fine. She answered every criticism. What interview were these people watching? Plus, shouldn't we assume that a party's nominee is going to be tough? Isn't that supposed to be kind of a given for this job description? Because I'm sure Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping, they're not tough at all. Putin, no, they're not tough. And if you really are tough, if you really are crushing it in an interview, why on earth would you want your staffers to cut it short? But in fact, that's exactly what happened.
Madam Vice President, they're rapping me very hard here. They're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
Now, why didn't Madam Tough Lady wave off her staff when they were waving at Bret to rap? I mean, if you are just dominating an interview, if you're on the top of your game, you're reaching an entirely new audience, then why wouldn't you want it to breathe a little, have a little fun? Well, here's some context.
We were supposed to start at 5 p.m. This was the time they gave us. Originally, we were going to do 25 or 30 minutes. They came in and said, well, maybe 20. The vice president showed up about 5:15. I had to dismount there at the end. You know, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands, like, it's got to stop.
It was like the gymnastics, like, moving around. Now, obviously, her comm staff saw what all of us saw, and it was not pretty. Now, it wasn't that Bret was getting combative. Bret was just doing what journalists used to do, ask serious questions. And, yeah, occasionally follow up when questions are actually not answered. It's not that he was combative. It was that she was getting more visibly annoyed the longer it went on. Enter the verbal crutch. May I please finish?
We have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished.
Pathway to citizenship for the
finish?
Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me finish.
You
please.
had the.
And it wasn't just that. Her staff should have had her practice answering at least a few questions about her record. Got to answer questions, right? Without using the words Donald Trump. She literally could not do this.
They say the country is on the wrong track. 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't.
No, that was the best line ever. I actually have no idea what you're talking about. That made no sense. Weak. The woman who thinks she deserves to be president showed up late to an interview and then refused to answer straightforward, rather simple questions that she should have answered 3 months ago. So the subtext throughout, I had to watch this again, it was torture. Whenever she was asked about her actual record or actual comments in the past, 2019, what she's trying to say is that I guess they all would have had more success and a lot more consensus if Trump wasn't out there running and running for president and banging the drums. I guess that was her argument. Now, she wanted to show the country that she is, in fact, a serious person with serious plans and solutions about how to repair our border and lift up our economy. But she didn't, because she can't. All she could do was what she always does: grandstand and repeat lines that her consultants had her memorize. Now, when Brett brought up the mother who blames Biden and Harris after her daughter was murdered by an illegal, this was the feigned emotion.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I am so sorry for her loss, sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions.
First of all, when anyone says sincerely, it's like saying frankly. Again, it's Trump's fault. This woman's daughter was murdered, and she's trying to say it's Trump's fault, or, you know, move to Trump, deflect to Trump. Again, this is not serious, and it's not going to work in international relations. It's not going to work when you're dealing with Congress. It's not going to work, period. What is she, 10? That's what my boys do. Oh, it's his fault. No, I deal with that all day long in my house. And with all the bromides flying, she sounded like ChatGPT trying to mimic Maya Angelou.
The vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us. I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward.
Chart a new way forward and call him fascist. That's the new rhetoric. You know, again, a new way forward, it's more like rinse, repeat. Because 5 minutes earlier, this woman literally could not name one thing she'd do differently than Biden. The fact is, Harris missed a huge opportunity last night, and the best that the print media could do was call the exchange testy. The Washington Post and New York Times followed suit, using a better SAT word, calling the interview contentious. Ooh. Notice what they couldn't say. They couldn't say that she showed a mastery of the facts or that she laid out a bold agenda to differentiate herself from Biden in his unpopular record. She did none of the above. The fact is, her staff was desperate to stop the interview because they knew the longer it went on, the weaker she came across. They were like trainers at a boxing match, throwing a towel in the ring to stop the fight. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.